Welcome to another episode of the show, and this week I have a very special guest, a friend of mine from the Claim to Fame days, from season 1 actually. I've got Adria Biles here. Thanks for joining. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you. It's been a few months since we've chatted and hung out, but I think this comes at a really good time because you were just in Paris and your sister, Simone, the amazing Simone, did an exceptional job. She was incredible. And
Thank
you were
you.
there to see it all. Like, how was like the energy of that whole experience?
I think because this is like the third time around. So I think this time it almost felt like not real because it was like the end of an era. So, like, yeah, you're trying to enjoy the moment, but like every beam routine she did, I was like, oh, this is about to be the last one. Like, it was kind of hard for me to come to terms with because I love watching my sister compete. So I'm like, man, I'm not going to ever see her compete again. So, but it was surreal. Paris is amazing. It's beautiful. The people are great. It was something that you can't explain. It was amazing.
So you really think she's gonna throw in the towel, like she's done?
Listen, I I hope so because I know how much she like loves her husband and loves watching him play, and I hope she can just enjoy that and like take a break that she deserves. And she loves to travel, so I hope that she can do that. And if she's not done, then I guess I'll be back in the stands. But if she is done, I mean, job well done.
Yeah, I saw your TikTok that went completely viral of your reaction in the stands watching her do her routines, and it's pretty heartwarming. I think it's cool to see like how much you support her. And second off, do you get it a lot where people get mixed up like thinking you guys are twins?
Oh my God, all the time. All the time. Like Simone Biles, I'm like, I'm so sorry to disappoint you. Like, I'm so sorry I'm not her.
You guys have a really, really close resemblance. And
Yeah.
but so how close in age are you guys?
We're 2 years apart.
Okay. So that's pretty close. And you were well, let's back up. Let's talk about your childhood because you guys have been inseparable from day one. Were you doing gymnastics as well at an early age? When did that start?
So she started at like probably 6 or 7, and then I started probably around the same time. And I only wanted to do it because she wanted to do it. Like I was obsessed with my sister. I like still am because we're like best friends. But I only wanted to do it because she wanted to do it. And so my parents put us both in, and my very first competition, I was like, why are they looking at me? Like I was like, I could not get it together. And my mom was like, okay, we're done. Like she pulled me out, and I was like, no, like I want to still do it. But the only reason I wanted to do it is because my sister did it. And so like the following year, my mom put me back in as like a birthday present, and then I fell in love with it. So yeah, we've done it for a while.
Yeah. And so let's kind of paint the picture here because I think a lot of us know that your grandparents kind of took you in at an early age, and you guys were in the foster system for quite some time. Were your grandparents really the ones that were pushing that? Like that was the initial start of, hey, we want to see you guys succeed in this? Or did they see some sort of interest from you two in that area? What was like the spark of interest? And more Simone, I guess, since you haven't done a lot of it. I'd just love to hear that.
I think the push was to get us off our couches in the living room because we would like flip around. Like we were always flipping around. Like my sister taught me how to flip in the backyard. And so they were like, okay, this isn't safe. Like we need to get you guys somewhere where you're not going to die. And like, I'm telling you, like our old house, there was like a railing from the upstairs, and we would jump over the railing onto the couch, like in the living room.
You're like, that's probably not a good idea. So let's put you in a gym.
Yeah. So then it was a field trip, as most people know. And Simone was like amazing. And they were like, okay, we've never seen this before. So they didn't push. Simone kind of was just in love with it. And she was like crazy talented at the beginning. they still to this day have never pushed us. Like when I was ready to quit, they were like, okay, like that's fine. But yeah, Simone's always kind of done it on her own.
Because I feel like sometimes people look from the outside in and see these young children like doing amazing things. I don't know. I just saw like a TikTok the other day of some little 6-year-old girl gymnast that's incredibly good. You probably know her. I don't know. But
It's crazy.
I'm looking at her. She's got a 6-pack and all this. And I'm like, are the parents just like really, really pushing this? Or is this from the passion of the child? And I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both until the kid like takes on their own journey within, that sport or activity or whatever they're doing. But it sounds to me like you guys just had that passion from the start. And Simone just had it innately in her, I'd imagine, right? I mean, that's to the level of what she's performing. It's hard not to think that, right? Where some people are just gifted it in life and handed it. Where others, I feel like they kind of have to work towards this for years and years and years to get up to that level. Not saying that Simone hasn't put a lot of time and hours and energy into it, but do you feel like there's something innately in her that got her to that level?
Sometimes I think she is an alien.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a crazy human. I think that, and like given our circumstance growing up, I kind of think about that sometimes because I'm like, she had the talent, but had she not been given the resources, I don't think she would be where she is. So like, obviously forever grateful for that. But no, I think she just kind of, you put someone where they belong and they kind of just thrive. And I think that's just what happened.
Yeah. It was just the perfect combination.
Mm-hmm.
So have you been kind of a support system for her? Because I know a lot of the years going through her mental struggles too. She's been very open about that. Mm-hmm. How have you kind of played a role in that whole journey for her?
I think it's very important to show up for people when they struggle. Like, I think whether you think about it or not, I don't think I was like banging on her door, like, are you okay? I think it was more like, hey, sister, come over. And like, we were sitting on the couch watching like the Kardashians. And I think that can like make a world of a difference. So, and I think every day for like being a mental health advocate and all that stuff, I think it's just like being present and showing up for people.
And how was the Tokyo experience? Were you right there with her? Obviously, well, that was during COVID, so I don't think she had anybody with her, huh?
No, we couldn't go. And that was the first time that my parents hadn't been able to watch her in person. And that was really hard for me because I just had bad vibes. Like, I was just weirded out. And I remember I tell people this story all the time because it's like the weirdest thing. Like, we're not twins, but I feel like we can like feel each other. And I was sleeping. It was like 5 a.m. And my sister like tells this story and she's like, she was sleeping. And I'm like, well, it was 5 a.m. and I had work at like 7 a.m. And she was competing and it was when she did her vault. And she like, I don't know what happened, but she had the twisties. And I like woke up and I was like, something's wrong. Like, it was the weirdest feeling, like randomly woke up and I was like, something's wrong. Okay. And I walked into the living room and like my family was watching on the couch and then the phone rang and I picked up the phone and it was my sister. And I was like, whoa, I'm like, what are you doing on the phone? And I was like, are you okay? And she was like, I want to talk to mom. And I was like, okay. And that's when she pulled out. But no, I think I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. And it was hard not being there because I feel like that also kind of played a part in it because I feel like when you don't have like your support system, it's hard to like, I don't know, perform or whatever. I don't know.
No, of course.
Not ever been at that level to like say that. So like, I'm not sure what that's like, but I know it was hard for me. So I can't imagine how that was for her.
It's nice to have a support system. I'd imagine too, it's nice to have alone time, but it's also good to know that you have somebody. And look, I haven't been to this level, so this is only an assumption, but when you're down there performing, it's nice to know you have family sitting on the stage or sitting on in the stands, rooting you on. It's not like a whole bunch of people you don't know. Granted, I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
the stands weren't filled with anybody during that time. Maybe that's also why it threw her off as well. Like, that's got to be a little odd.
I don't think anybody was like allowed to be in the crowd because that was like prime COVID. Like that was like peak COVID. So I don't even like, I think that even the coaches like had to wear masks and stuff. Like I don't think anybody really was allowed um, to be even there in the arena.
Yeah, so the whole situation was just very odd. So
Yeah.
did you feel these kind of deeper feelings before she even went out to Tokyo, or was it?
I think it was more like I was really sad that I wasn't able to go. And I kind of knew what was going on a little bit, but not to the extent that like I was kind of under the impression that it was like, I don't know, when you can't do something or you feel like you can't do something. And then as soon as you like perform, so like as soon as she saluted, I was like, oh, she's got this. Like you kind of pull it out of your butt moment. Like I thought that's what was going to happen. And then it didn't. And I was like, okay, this is like not good. Like she's not okay. And I feel like when she's not okay, I'm not okay because I get sad when she's not okay.
Yeah. What happened after Tokyo? Because between Tokyo and now, there had to have been a lot of hesitation on her part to even do it again. Was there a little, like, how did you also play a role in that time period? I'd love to hear kind of her thought process and the family's thought process of getting her back up to performing now.
I know it was really hard because she's really hard on herself. So that was really hard watching her kind of go through that. And like also like what people had to say. Like people are so brutal on the internet. And it's so crazy to me that like somebody that you've never met, you can just say these horrible things to them. And so I'm like sure also that like took a toll on her. But she actually was the one who called her coaches and was like, I think I want to try again. And we again were like, okay, like if that's what you want to do, like we never pushed, we never like we were in full support. So it's just they've just kind of been there, and it was like, you want to do it, you're going to do it, and we'll be here if you need us.
I'll be there. And she got married. When did she get married? That was.
I think it was why do I want to say May of 2023?
Okay.
I think it was like May 6th.
So a little over a year now.
Okay, then yeah. Mm-hmm.
When my siblings get married, they're kind of like, okay, bye. Like, I'll never see you again, which we do, but it's a different experience. Do you still see her a lot, or is it like she's got her own thing going on now and you're just secondary in her life now?
It's so funny. I'm so annoying because I'm like, that's my sister. Like, I'm so selfish with her because I'm like, I literally am like, that's my baby. Like, and so when she met Jonathan, I was not happy. Like, I knew he was a good guy and I knew they were great, but I was like, you're taking my time away from her. Like, I felt so annoyed. And so, like, to be honest, me and him didn't get along. I was just like being a brat. Now obviously I love him and he's like an older brother to me. And, but yeah, she loves being married and it was really hard for me. And now she's like, I want to have babies. And I'm like, oh, now I'm going to have to compete with somebody else. I'm like, please just hold off on having babies.
As good of a guy as he is, he still took my sister. That's what it is, you know? But you're going to have to forgive him at some point. You know that, Adria.
I know.
Especially when they have kids, because you're going to be watching those kids from time to time.
I know. And my brother just had a baby. She's 20 months. And I was the youngest and I was the cutest. And now there's a baby. And I'm like,
oh, that's so hard. Anymore. That's so hard, Adria. Come on. You know what? I've got 14 nephews and nieces. So try that. That's like a whole nother level. So, but that's exciting. So do they live close to you now or where are they at?
Yes. Yeah. We all are 5 minutes of each other. So we're all pretty close. So we can just kind of all show up whenever and pop in and say hi.
You always have family functions, a lot of get-togethers and.
We do. Yeah. And we try to have, dinner every Sunday, like Sunday dinner with the family. It's been a while, but usually that's what we do. So like
Yeah.
at least once a week we'll all see each other. And then I work at the gym, so my mom's there all the time. And then before Paris, my sister was training there every day, so I saw them too every day.
So what do you do at the gym? Have you been working there for a while?
I have. I work the front desk, so I deal with lovely people all day. And then I coach, and I'm obsessed with my girls. I love them so much.
That's fun. We had our little girl in gymnastics for a while. I would say she was probably too young, but maybe you're never too young to start. We might do it again. Um, but a lot of people in her age group were like excelling pretty fast. And so I'm like, she may have it, she may not. Maybe she'll just be a singer like me.
There you go.
We're a little bit better on the vocal side than on the physical side. You can ask my wife about that. Like I don't pick up sports extremely well. So, but it sounds like your family does. And now that you've got an NFL player in the mix too, it's like, yeah, you guys are just very entrenched in it. I think like their kids are probably going to be elite athletes.
I can't even imagine their babies. I'm like, they're going to be stars.
Yeah, I wonder if Simone would really push that idea of like having her kids, do that and follow her in her
What, do
footsteps.
gymnastics?
Yeah, and follow her in her footsteps, which I'm sure is like big shoes to fill, but it almost seems like it'd be a natural thing for them to do.
I don't know. I think we kind of talked about it. I don't think she would push, but like if they wanted to, then yeah.
So Jonathan, is he who's he playing for these days? Like is he currently, I mean, he's going into a new season here.
Yeah, they just started. He's with the Bears.
That's man, their schedule has got to be so crazy. Do they see each other a lot? Like, because they're going all over the place, being pulled left and right, and not even on top of sports. There's brand deals you're doing. There's everything in between. It's a crazy schedule.
It's so chaotic. Before Paris, she kind of was able to go up every weekend to see him, like on the weekends, and then she would fly back home for practice. Now that she's got a little bit of free time, she just was there for like a week. And then now she's about to start tour. So I don't know how that will work because there's like tour every few days and then she'll be in a new city and he has a game almost every weekend. So I don't know how that's going to work, but they try to see each other as much as they can.
It's a crazy world they live in, but you know what? They're changing the world, and I think changing the face of, gymnastics as a whole. That's got to be such an amazing feeling and a great accomplishment. I mean, she really is the face of gymnastics. Like, let's be real. And to be the best at something has got to have its own pressures, but it's so rewarding. Does she ever feel like, because she's on stage, being on stage and in front of millions of people and then coming off of that has got to be such a wild emotional trip. Has she ever expressed that to you and how she feels when that happened? Like, does she go into a bit of a slump after performing at such a high level?
I think wouldn't say it's a slump because she's usually pretty happy. I think it's more of like an adrenaline high. Like you have all this adrenaline and then you do it. And then afterwards it's like, whoa, okay. Like I just did that. It's almost like you like not black out, but like you do it and then you're like, okay, like now I can calm down. I think she realized that after Paris, like she had called me and it was like a few days after, like she did this after 2016, I think too. Like she came home and this is when she was still living at the house. So like we were still living together at my parents' house and it had been like a week or two. And I like walked into her room and we were watching videos of it and she just started bawling. She was like, I can't believe it. Like, and I think that's when it kind of hit her. So in Paris, she had called me a few days after the last meet. And maybe it was like a day or two after. And I was doing my makeup, so I wasn't paying attention. Because like we always just like FaceTime and just like put the phone up and then just like do life. And I was like, hey girl. And I didn't realize she was crying. She was bawling. And I was like, hey girl. And she was like, I'm done. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, no, I'm done. And I was like, oh my God. realized she was crying, and I was like, no, like cry. Like you deserve every tear that is coming out of your eye. And so obviously they were happy tears, but I think it takes her a moment to kind of for things to kind of hit her.
Well, you're probably like her best I'd imagine. Okay, you're sisters, but you've got to be like her best friend.
Oh yeah, we're besties. That's my girl.
Yeah, and for her to have that outlet is great. It's nice to know there's somebody out there that can say, you know what, it's time for you to cry, and just let it all out. It's okay. There's no shame here. There's no judgment. Like, just be you.
I was like, cry, and then let's go to the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
She was like, I want a drink, and I was like, okay.
Let's have a really low, and let's have a really high.
Yeah.
So, since you guys are basically twins, do you guys kind of nag at each other, or do you do things that like cause a little bit of a tiff?
She has so many clothes, so it's like you're not even gonna know if it's missing, but I'll either take it and I'm like, hey, I'm taking your stuff, and then or she'll give it to me, like fully hand it to me, see like that she's giving it to me with her full self, and then I'll wear it and she's like, that's my shirt. I'm like, okay.
Like, yeah.
Do we not remember a week ago when you handed it to me?
Does she take any of your stuff?
She doesn't take it, but I'll give her, like, if something's too like small or something, because she's so tiny. I'll be like, hey, I have a shirt. And so we share clothes all the time.
Yeah, if I did that to actually, you know what? I probably have a couple of things in my brother's. I need to go through my closet and see if I've stolen anything. Or my dad's stuff. Because we're all
gonna miss it. That's like a love language to me. Like sharing stuff. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain point until you destroy it, right? So if you're like, hey, I'm going to borrow this Louis for a minute and you scuff it all up, I'd be a little ticked, you know?
I take pretty good care of her stuff. And I'll give it back if she asks for it back. But I'm like, if you gave, like borrowing something and giving something to them, like that's different, I feel like. If I'm borrowing it, I'm like, okay, I'll bring it back. If you give it to me and you're like, I don't want it, I don't need it, I'm going to throw it away if you don't take it. And then you get mad when I wear it. It's like, okay.
Now, wait, are you wearing her leotards from like the Olympics and stuff? You're like, hey, I'm just going to wear this casually to the mall. You want to just come along?
I don't even think one of my thighs would fit into a leotard. I don't think people realize how small she is. Like, she is like itty bitty.
Well, how tall are you? Are you guys around the same size? So you're a little bit taller than her.
No, I'm tall. I'm 5'2" and she's 4'8". So she's like literally like, she's like shoulder height.
Oh my gosh. Wait, how tall is Jonathan then?
I think Jonathan's like 5'11", maybe 6 foot.
Okay. I mean, he's a decent size. So
yeah,
she's puny.
She's just a tiny human. And my mom's like 4. They argue about it. My mom's like 4'9", 4'10". Yeah. And they're like neck and neck.
Hey, you know what? I'm not that big. I've got a small man syndrome, so it's okay. 5'8", but so I get nagged about it all the time. And you know what? I've embraced it, and I'm sure Simone's probably embraced it at some point. Granted, like gymnastics does kind of stunt your growth, doesn't it? A little bit.
I feel like that's a myth.
Is it? Let's break this down.
We got to Google it because I don't know. That's what I've literally heard my entire life. But I was tall as a gymnast. So like I was 5'2" and like I was hitting the bar. So I don't know. I think just gymnasts in general are just like small humans.
Okay. For the record, I'm just looking this up and I don't know. Look, I don't know if this is true or not. Some random website, but it says gymnastics training doesn't appear to stunt growth. So for the record right now, Simone Biles was small to begin with, okay?
Myth has been busted.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why I always hear that then, but maybe I
think people just like say that.
There's some other factors to it. So what's on the horizon for you and both Simone and the family now that the Olympics are over?
Ooh, I don't know. I think we're just getting back into the groove of things. My sister's about to start her tour, which is the Gold Over America tour. And then, I don't know, I'm just chilling for now. I'm just working. My girls are about to start competition season. I'm very excited about that. So I'll be busy.
That's fun.
But yeah, other than that, I'm just going back to regular life.
Doing family stuff. I understand there's a birthday today you're celebrating in the family. So go do that. Enjoy that. And we'll have to catch up another time too. I would love to do another conversation with you and also hang out. We need to get together with all the crew.
Yes. We need to figure out Nashville.
We do need to figure out Nashville. Logan Crosby, the one and the only, putting on a show. And I think I'm going to have him on this show soon as well. So I'm just cycling through all the claim to famers. Why not?
I love that.
Well, give Simone my best and congratulate her. She did an incredible job. The whole team did. They pulled away with, gosh, how many medals?
Oh my, I don't even know. I have no idea.
Well, they podiumed and everything. I mean, it's an amazing feat. So the fact that she is doing that time and time again, Olympics after Olympics, is unheard of. It really is.
She's pretty incredible. I don't know how she does it, but.
Well, your family's amazing. Thanks for doing this, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you for having me.